The fridge and gravity. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get to work on that labna. So I need 3 cups, aka 750 milliliters of that Astro Balkan style yogurt. That just so happens to be a whole tub, which is perfect.
Nice.
So we're going big. This is like a snack for a crowd. It'll also last in your fridge for a good while, so we are good to go. Now, I'm actually just gonna mix everything right in the tub because I don't want to dirty another bowl.
We love that. Smart.
Always thinking there.
Especially when people are coming over. You know when people come over and that's when everything is
Piles up.
Piles up. And you're like, don't look at my sink, please. So I'm just gonna season that up with about 3/4 of a teaspoon of some salt. That's gonna go throughout. That's gonna help season that yogurt, but it's also gonna help draw out some of the whey. So in there, I'm gonna give that a nice mix right in that tub. Give it a good stir. Now, typically, when I am scooping yogurt, anytime I'm scooping this yogurt, I like to almost cut into it and leave it not stirred. Because sometimes when you stir it, all that whey gets mixed back in, and it doesn't keep its thickness. This one does stay nice and thick, but I think we've got some debates over here.
Yes,
Because Vijay and I are cutters. I'm
a scooper and drainer.
A scooper and drainer.
And you've seen me, I think the very first time I did it, Mary saw me do it and she said, "You're one of those?"
Yeah, because I'm the same. 100%.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
It's very
Andrea,
exciting.
Chris.
So initially, I just stir it in and eat it as is, but I will admit, and I didn't admit this before, but as it sits in the fridge, if it's my second serving,
Yes.
and it's pooling on top, I will tip it out into something else.
Okay.
Okay, is that?
Yes, that's what I do.
That's the truth.
Yes, because then you get that beautiful yogurt. It stays nice and thick, and then you just pour that little bit of extra whey aside. It's not going to ruin anything if you mix it up, but for this one, you do want to mix it. Gets it nice and creamy and beautiful. But now what we want to do is we want to strain it, because labna is just strained yogurt, essentially. So I have got a cheesecloth-lined sieve here, just sitting over a bowl, and I'm just going to dump that yogurt right on into there.
Nice.
Now, when you're looking for cheesecloth, you're going to look in an area of the grocery store that you do not think you should look in.
That you've never been in before.
No, it is that one. It's sometimes always hanging on those weird things in the aisle where you find like airplane-shaped spoons for kids and things like that. That's where you're gonna find your cheesecloth, and you were good to go. Now, if you don't find cheesecloth, you can feel free to easily just use a little clean kitchen towel.
Ooh, or coffee filter.
Coffee filter.
That's a good one.
Andrea bucket. Great idea.
Coming in hot.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, what you want to do is I'm going to fold that cheesecloth over top of that beautiful yogurt, and I'm going to weigh it down with a can. That's just going to help gravity do its work. That yogurt's going to stay in there, and the whey is just going to come out. So that was as easy as it is to make labna, but you do have to put it into your fridge. I'm going to say for a really creamy one, you want about 12 hours. If you want it less creamy, feel free to pop it in there for less time. We're going to pop that right on in. And as you can see in the bottom of this bowl, all of that whey that has come out is going to make for the thickest, most delicious, basically yogurt cheese. It's almost going to be the consistency of cream cheese. Really, really tasty. All right, so I'm going to take that beautiful labna, remove it from that cheesecloth, and then I'm just going to pop it into a separate bowl. Okay. Gotta get it unpeeled.
Oh my God, it holds its shape.
You can pick it up.
So beautiful.
When was the last time you picked up yogurt? Never, I can tell you. All right, turn that out. And do you see that texture? It is creamy. You can even make types of cheesecake with this.
Yes.
Really, really delicious. All right, now Andrea, I hear you like whey, so I'm gonna gift you with this.
So I do. I mean, the thing is, you can use this if you. I like to ferment vegetables on my countertop, so this kind of expedites that process.
Oh, I love that.
A little bit of 2% salt solution with your veg, a little bit of whey, and then it gets nice and bubbly and fermenty.
Ooh.
Delicious, right, Christopher?
Really good,
So good.
really good.
Those
Kettle
cultures,
art.
putting them to work. I love this. All right, now into here, I'm gonna make this a garlic labna, just for a really good punchy flavor. So right into here, I'm gonna mince in a clove of garlic. Now, if you didn't want to make that labna, you can just get that Astro Balkan style yogurt, grate some garlic in, season up with some salt, mix it up, great dip.
I've had that with tortilla chips. It's delicious.
It's so good.
It's really good.
So addictive.
Punchy and delicious. All right, I'm gonna give that a mix together just to get that beautiful garlic all in there. And do you see this consistency?
Wow.
It is like beautiful. Like, look at that. I could look at that all day. All right, give that a good mix together and then just set that aside. That is that thick garlic labna, looking absolutely beautiful and creamy. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside, and now I'm gonna get to work on those flatbreads. Now, we're making yogurt flatbreads, because the thing I love about adding yogurt into doughs is it almost gives you the flavor of a sourdough without having to babysit anything. You're not feeding a sourdough starter. You're not keeping track of that thing that you maybe made back in 2020, and it's definitely sitting in the back of your fridge, not looking so cute. I'm gonna show you how to make a really, really quick and easy flatbreads. So the first thing you need is 1.5 cups of flour. I'm just using all-purpose, but you could definitely do this with whole wheat as well. So just add that right on into a bowl. And then into there, as opposed to doing a yeast risen dough, we're gonna go in with baking powder. That's gonna give you that little bit of puff. Still gonna be chewy, but it's way quicker than doing a yeast risen dough. So going in with a teaspoon of baking powder. Season that up with about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. If you want to here, you could add in some herbs as well. That would be beautiful. We're keeping this as is. Gonna give that a nice mix together. And then we're going in with that yogurt. So again, you need 3/4 cup of that Astro Balkan style yogurt. That's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna go in a la Vijay and I and cut on into there, scoop it out. Do you see that consistency? So thick and creamy. I'm gonna just wing it. This is the type of bread that you can just wing.
Love it.
So that's probably about 3/4 cup. Now into there, I'm also going in with 1/4 cup of warm water. The warm water helps develop the gluten, make it really, really easy to work with. So go on in with that. And you wanna mix this into a nice shaggy dough. At this point, you might need to add in a little bit more flour, anywhere from like maybe another 1/2 cup or so, but just mix it until it comes together. And then you wanna give it a little bit of a knead. You don't have to knead this too much because again, there's no yeast in there, so you're not catching those bubbles. Once it's kneaded up though, set it aside for about 10 minutes. And then you end up with a little ball of dough that looks something like this. Super tasty, really, really quick, and it's perfect for shaping. So like beautiful. Pop that down. Add a little bit of flour onto your board just so it doesn't stick. And I'm gonna cut this in anywhere from like 4 to 6 portions. Now, whenever I'm making flatbreads, they are never a circle.
Never.
No.
Why would they?
Why would you try? I don't understand. So I always have them, they're kind of like the shape of a footprint. You know what I mean? Oblong, kind of more like a nun.
Yeah, kind of like a naan.
Yeah, super tasty. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this down.
And also it makes it look more rustic.
Yeah.
And more
1000%.
homemade, right?
1000%.
Not manufactured.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a zhuzh. Mine's kind of a triangle now, but that's okay. A squircle is what we're going for. Now, if you want, you can fry this up in some butter or oil, but I'm just going into a dry pan over medium heat. That's gonna cook until it turns golden brown. It's gonna start to puff up and get bubbly and beautiful. Once that's cooked, we're gonna serve everything up. So to serve, I've got this beautiful garlicly,
It is garlic.
garlicly labna, yeah. Pop that down onto a serving plate.
Oh my God. It looks like whipped cream.
It literally looks like the thickest whipped cream you've ever seen. This, oh my gosh, give it a little bit of a spread out. Make a little bit of a divot in the middle because I like to add some fancy olive oil here. This is the one where you've been saving it just in case someone fancy comes over. I don't know.
Don't save it.
Don't save it,
Yeah,
eat
you're
it.
worth it.
Yes. No matter the day, a little drizzle of that on top, and by a little, let's go bigger than that actually.
Yes, Mary.
Everybody. Let's go
Yeah.
like a
There
little
we go.
drizz. Yes. Perfect. Some flaky sea salt over the top. A little bit of cumin for some kind of lemony smokiness is gonna be absolutely beautiful. And then some toasted sesame seeds for a crunch.
and nuttiness.
Right?
Yeah.
Super tasty. And then, of course, I love dill. Any sort of fresh herb, though, on here, just pop that on top.
Dill is that herb.
It really is.
Yeah.
Feels so
spring.
It's very like the cool herb of the season.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. You know,
Just like shows up.
just shows up and is like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
You have to buy me in a giant bunch. So use me up.
Exactly.
Serve that up with some crudité and those beautiful little flatbreads on the side, and you are in for an absolute treat. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.